I'd like to go ahead and take you on a tour of Cura and how to use it with your Flashforge Creator Pro. So you can see here in the model, we've got the bed and the whole printer set up. We've got a profile. Now there's some things we're gonna have to do to make all this work. So let's go ahead and let's get started. First thing I'm gonna want to do is go out to Google and I'm just gonna type in Cura download. Go to Cura download, and it should be the first link to pop up. I would give you a direct link, but the version of Cura will change frequently. So there it is. We're going to go ahead and just download it. All right. So I've downloaded it. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and double click it and start installing it. Make sure to take the defaults and all that good stuff. So we'll click next, and I agree, and next. Next again. Now on this case, if I have other slicers on my computer, so all I really want to do is make sure I put the Arduino drivers in and the Visual Studio. I don't really want this OpenSTL files with Cura. If Cura is going to be your only slicer, I would highly recommend leaving that checked. Okay, then I'll click install, and it'll take a little bit of time. Alright, so Cura has finished installing. I'm going to go ahead and click finish. It's going to go ahead and run Cura as well, so I'll hit finish on that and it'll load right up. See it going through the load up screen. This first time you load it, it will take a little bit longer than normal. It normally loads up pretty quick. So you can see Cura has finally decided to load up, and we're just going to hit get started, and it's going to say user agreement. You're pretty well going to have to agree to that or you're not going to be able to use it. And it's talking about anonymous data. So I'll skip this next part. Sign into the Ultimaker. We don't really need a Cura account, so we can skip that. Now here's the options. It's going to say, do you want to add a networked printer? If you got a Flashforge Creator Pro, it's not a networked printer. So we'll go down here to where it says add a non-networked printer. It does have a Flashforge category. Mine says Creator Pro because I've already installed it. You don't have that stuff yet. So we'll just hit the Dreamer NX. That actually will show up, and we'll just click next on it for now. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and eventually all that will change. So for right now even, we can just take all of this stuff and just hit next. We're not going to change anything here. We'll change it later. This is going through some different things that Cura can do. For right now, we'll hit skip. And then, of course, there's some release notes. Like I said, Cura gets updated frequently. So I'll hit finish. All right, so here's some things we got to do. We've got to take and download some files now. Our Cura is not going to show up like this just yet. So let's talk about how to make all that happen. I'm going to go out here to Google now, and I'm going to type in this address, and I'll put it in here for you. I'll put a little link to it. But it's a tiny URL address I made for y'all to keep it kind of simple. And we're going to go FFCP123. And this will take you straight to a zip file. All right, so you can see all the files that are in there. But to get this, I'll need to go over here to download. So right here. And it'll download that whole directory as a zip file. So there it is. So I'm going to open that up, and it'll decompress all that stuff in there for me. Right, so here's the key component to this. We've got to get these files to where Cura can actually do something with it. In particular, we're going to use this resources folder. That's a really important folder. And we're going to take all of these things and we're going to put them in the Cura folder. So we've got to have, here's what I do. I actually will load up another Windows Explorer here now. Okay, so bear with me just a second. All right, so I've got two Windows Explorers open. I'm going to go ahead and set it up here so we can kind of see them side by side. Over on this side, I'm going to go and I'm going to find where Cura is installed. For me, it's the root directory, and I'm going to go to Program Files. And I'm going to find where it says Ultimaker Cura. You can see that I've actually got a previous version installed. Here's the latest one, so I'm going to double click it. And you'll notice through here there's a lot of stuff. But there's that resources folder, and that's exactly what I want. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I've got the resources folder that I just downloaded. All right, so if I go back, you can see there's the resources. Now I want to take the definitions in here, and I want to copy these, just these two, and I want to go over to this side. This is where where the Ultimaker is installed. I'll go to definitions, and I'll take these two files and copy them over. All right. After I do that, I'm going to go back out to the resources folder on both sets. I'll go to extruders, and I'm just going to take these two again. So the JSON files, I'm going to copy both of those and put them in the extruders folder. I'll go back to resources one more time, and I'll go to meshes, and I'll do the same thing over here. So meshes is a little further down, and I'll just drag that Flashforge Creator Pro over. So I have got that taken care of. Now, in order for you to actually see those things, though, you're going to have to exit Cura. You have to reload Cura. Until then, it's not going to show up. So there's Ultimaker. I'll just load it back up. Like we said previously, it should load up considerably quicker this time because it has all that stuff taken care of. So now we're actually going to go in here and we're going to set up our new Flashforge Creator Pro. All right, so I'm going to go up here to settings, and I'm going to say printer. And there's that Dreamer we installed earlier, right? I'm going to go to add printer now. And this one, I'm just going to say add a non-networked printer because we're still on that. We'll click that. And now I can go down here and I'll actually be able to find that Flashforge Creator, or excuse me, the Flashforge folder right here. And now I should see one that says Creator Pro. Right here, I want to make sure to name it so something that's going to make sense. I'll use, like, especially if you have multiple printers like we do, we have multiple different types. So for me, I'll call this one FFCP, and I know that stands for Flashforge Creator Pro. And I'll just hit add. So now you see that it'll pull it in just like it's supposed to. That's exactly what we wanted. So if we go up here now and we kind of check out what we did, we can go to settings and we'll say printer, and we'll say manage printers. While I'm here, I'm going to click on this Dreamer NX, and I'm going to remove it because I don't have that printer, so I'll remove it. So now I can double click on this FFCP and say machine settings. So if I start looking through there, it's got everything set for me just the way it's supposed to be done, even the right extruder and left extruder. Quick tip here. So on that folder that you downloaded, there's a file in there that says notes about project. You're going to want to double click that. It's a Word file. And I want to select everything here. We have to redo the starting G code. I'll tell you why here in a second. We're going to go ahead and select everything here, and we're going to copy it. And then we're going to go back into Cura, and you see where it says start G code here? I need to paste what I just copied into that. The NG code is going to be fine. We don't need to mess with it. But the start G code, the reason we had to do that is because the author of this, and it's brilliant work that they did, but they have it set up to where both extruders work. For right now, we're just trying to get Cura to print with our Flashforge. So what I did in this G code is I turned the left extruder off. So this profile is only going to work with the right extruder. If you're one of those and you're wanting to work with both extruders, what you're going to want to do is come back through here and you'll have to uncomment things. So you can see where I've commented them out. All I did was put a semicolon in front of those things. Anything like that that's got that semicolon in front is a comment. So the G code is not going to be read. Right? So all I've really done is just take the left extruder out here. So I'll hit close, and I'll close again. Now, one thing we got to do here, we need to import a profile I've written for you. So you're going to go up here, and you're going to say settings, and you'll say printer, and you'll say manage printers, and we'll go to profiles here. Right now, you've got all the defaults. You're going to want to go to import, and in that same folder, it says FFCP Cura profile right there in that same folder we've been working out of. Pull that in, and it says successfully imported. Now we are good to go. So I'm going to make sure I'm using that one, right? So I'll hit close here. Now to get that profile, I'm going to go over here. You see where it says fine? Mine says 5.1 millimeter right now. I'll just click anywhere in there, really. And I'll say custom. And what I want to do is instead of find, I want to go down here to where it says FFCP, that Cura profile. I want to pull that up. Before we can slice it, this Flashforge writes in what is called X3G. It doesn't use G code like other printers. So we're going to have to go out to the marketplace. So we go out to marketplace, and this can take a little bit of time. It almost will make you feel like your computer's locking up. All right, it has loaded up. Now there are some premium plugins. We can just use the community plugins. We are looking for one, and it's all the way at the bottom. It says X3G Writer. So we're just going to click it, and we'll hit install. It'll go ahead and install it, and you'll have to agree. And then it says installed. Now, read this, though. It says you will need to restart Cura before changes take place. So I'm going to hit quit. I'll go ahead and exit this G code now. That file I can. Okay, and then let's go ahead and let's reload Cura. So here comes Cura. That X3G is really important, though, because it sets us up to actually write in an X3G format. All right, so let's get it set. Here's Cura. It's already loaded up. From here on out, I really, look, if you'll notice, my profile's already set for me. I mean, I'm good to go. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead over here to open. And really all I'm going to do is I'm just finding something I want to print. So let's pull that in there. I can go ahead, like if I want to double click it, over here you can see I can move it around a little bit so I can offset it. You know, I might want to move it over here. Maybe I've got a rough spot on my bed or something. I can go here and I can scale it. So I can just change the size. Here will allow me to turn it and rotate it. The one I change a lot, I change scale and the rotation. Sometimes I'll have to change. Now there's a couple of things we might have to deal with here. In our profile here, there's a couple options. Really, your profile is pretty set for you, but if you go to support and you decide, hey, I need supports for this, which in this model we don't need supports. But if we did, we would click it and it would go ahead and it would make sure that everything is in there. I mean, it's set for us. Now, build plate adhesion. In this case, we don't really need any extra adhesion, but sometimes you need a skirt to go around it or a brim or a raft. If you've really got not much that's making contact with the bed, you're probably going to use a raft. The profile is set up so that if your Z gap is set correctly and you've got the bed set up correctly, you should be able to hit none on this one. So then we'll go down to slice, and it says slicing, but I want to click. Yours by default is not going to say save to disk. It's probably going to say save to SD card. I want to hit save to disk, and a couple of things I need to do. Right here where it says save as type, I need to click in there and make it say X3G. And then I go ahead and I can give the thing a name. I'll save. I can either from here, you know, I can have it saved to my SD drive, or I can save it to the computer and then move it over. Either way, though, I've got to save it to that SD drive at some point. So I'll click save. I can take it, put it on that SD card now, and I can take it to the printer.